over there at night, and I was okay, but like they got destroyed.
Just like your blood.
Yeah, English blood, man. They loved it. He was swollen, like he had.
Poor bugger.
They absolutely got me. I think it's the British meat. I think that's what it is. Like they love the British meat, and they
not
want...
so much the Argentinian.
No,
we're welcome.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything to them.
Yeah.
we actually met when we first got together. It was the 2nd of April, our first official date, you know, and that's the day that the British invaded the Falkland Islands, and that was the day that we got together, you know.
Is that coincidence? Or?
I mean, or synchronicity.
So the mate that I'm going to do this run with, he's like, there's the ongoing joke is how much he knows about the Falklands. So that's actually
really?
No way.
Yeah.
Why does he know so much about the Falklands?
He just loves military history, but like particularly like has a few books on the Falklands and stuff
so
like that.
random.
So,
yeah. It was synchronicity for us. I mean, the 2nd of April is also her sister's birthday.
Yeah,
and and obviously the day the British invaded Argentina. The Falklands is a connection between England and Argentina, you know.
When I told my parents, they were cracking up. You know?
Yeah, that would
Really, a British guy?
Yeah.
Like on this day?
on that day you had to.
You had to do it on that day. You're like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
And are you into military history, being a military man yourself?
Yeah, so Dad, so my whole family's been in the army. I'm in the Air Force, but the rest of my family's been in the army. And Dad was a massive history nerd growing up. Like he has essentially his own library, just full of military history. It was always reading something to do with history. And so I guess by osmosis, being around that, you just pick up a lot of things and you start to get interested yourself. And so, I loved history at school, modern history, ancient history. I duxed both in high school, just out of love for it. It's like, you know, whenever you have a passion for things, it becomes easy to do because you love it.
Yeah.
So I'm a very big history nerd myself.
So growing up, you were reading a lot about it because of your family.
Yeah.
And then from a young age, you wanted to be in the military, or was it something that was like...
How did that become your destiny? Were you forced into it?
Well, yeah.
Was it a conscious choice?
Yeah.
Is it ancestral trauma that brought you there?
You know, it's probably a bit of both. Like,
did you want to be a dancer and you had to do this instead?
No, so it's I guess like, so my parents have never pushed me into anything, but like looking back on it, it was always like the breadcrumbs of like influence down certain things, you know, like you grow up on army bases going around. Like my dad was in for 23 years. My uncle was in for near on 40 years. My granddad was in for 30 something years, 33 years, I think it was. So you're around it all the time. The influence is always there. And I guess growing up in that world, you don't really know, you're not growing up around like builders or different occupations. It's like if that's the occupation that your parents are around, you're growing up climbing on the obstacle courses, you know, running around the military bases and things like that. You're always around it. And when I left school, I wanted to have a year off. I didn't know what I really wanted to do, to be honest. I wanted to have a year off, and about like 2 months into that year off, I was working at a pub, and I was so sick and tired of working in a pub already after 2 months.
Already? Yeah. Smart from a young age.
Yeah.
You know, go hospitality. No.
Yeah.
You know?
I was like, this is not like, you know, I worked in the Canungra pub, which for people who know that, it's in southeast Queensland. Canungra is where one of our intelligence military bases is, and where they do like training for the School of Intelligence. And the Canungra pub is well known by people in the military that have been to that base. And it's, I wouldn't say it's a rough pub, at least not now, but when I was working there, you know, the owner or the one of the head managers there, he got his head punched in one night, and I went whilst I was there, and I was like, I'm done with this, man. Like I'm just like a 17, 18-year-old kid. Like I'm not interested in breaking up drunks at a thing. Like I need to find something else. So I went home and I was like complaining to my parents. I was like, I'm sick of this. And Mum's like, well, what are you going to do? Why don't you just join the military then? And I was like, fine, I will. And then so,
oh wow,
yeah,
wow, what a way to join, you know, like, and so out of spite for your mother, legit. You know.
And I think she was just, I think she was just like, you know, throwing ideas out there to be like,
sure.
And so I was like, well, I'll prove you wrong, or I'll prove you right, however way that goes. I was like, I'll go do that then. So, I went and signed up, did the testing and whatnot to see what path was available for me, and then ended up going down the ADFA route, which is the Australian Defence Force Academy, so become an officer. Went down that path, and then I've been in for 12 years now. and I've got one more week of work to go, and then I'm on 6 months half pay. Leave at half pay. Which I'm going to use to help transition to my online coaching business, which I've started this year. So it's been a pretty hectic year just in terms of trying to do the full-time job, still get my training in every day, and particularly I like to train across a variety of things. I call it like a versatile athlete, doing fighting things like judo, boxing, wrestling, and then the weightlifting and running on top of that. And so blending all that in together, it's like a pretty busy schedule, and you add in the full-time job as well, and then the online business, which I've started. So it's basically like I train in the morning. As soon as training's done, I'm straight into work from 8:30 to 4:30. As soon as that's done, I'm working on the business from 4:30 to whenever I go to bed. And then there's a social media piece on top of that, which I've had to, you have to post every single day. And so it's like, that's its own job in and of itself.
During your sleep?
Yeah, basically it's like, so if I go to the toilet, I'm sitting there on the toilet, like editing things. If I'm, if I'm waiting, I don't know, in any capacity, like, even between sets while I'm at the gym, sometimes I'm like editing things so it's just trying to make use of every single available, piece of time I have in the day. I'm trying to transition to this goal now to get the online coaching business stood up, and then be able to travel the world and learn, I guess, all the niche health, fitness and wellness things from all the gurus around the world. So, different martial arts and, for example, go to Okinawa and find out why the Okinawans live to such old ages. Like, what are they doing that helps them do this and achieve this? And so I'm not limiting myself, but I'm sort of framing it towards that health, wellness, martial arts type space, because that's where my interest lies. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Wow.
So how did you decide to quit the military? Like, did you just get into fitness and?
Well, yeah,
Would you say quit or discharged, or you discharge yourself, or
yeah,
it works in the military world?
It's usually a lifetime commitment, right? For people, I don't know.
Not anymore, not in Australia. Like, they have a lot of incentives to try and keep people. So they're handing out big payouts to people to try and keep them on for longer. Me and my mates, we missed out by 1 year on those payouts. So we're like, hey, what about us? Like, but I think for me, like, I haven't been enjoying what I do for the last probably 4 or 5 years. I was trying to go down a different route. I got injured. So I tore my shoulder in 3 places, and then I was trying to train up for this particular military thing for a while again. And then, I tore my patellar tendon in December last year. So I was like, maybe that's a sign to do something else for a bit. And so I took 6 weeks of long service leave middle of last year, just to go over to America, travel around. I actually went to Burning Man Festival because
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I went to a couple of years ago
you?
in 2022.
Yeah, there you go.
What an experience,
It's
man.
such an experience. And I'm not a partier, right? Like, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't, do any drugs or anything like that. I'll never judge other people for how they want to live their life. Like, hey, people live their life however they want to live.
Yeah, man, no, it's
Whatever
free
works.
world, right?
Yeah.
Free
Exactly.
world, totally judgment free.
Exactly.
I think that's what it
Radical
is,
pragmatism,
Yeah. And so, I'd seen this thing about Burning Man, and I was like, oh, that'd be interesting. Like, it looks really interesting. I wonder what that's about. And my mates, when I mentioned it, they're like, yeah, but you don't do any of that stuff that's there. And I was like, well, how do you know what's there? Like, haven't been. Like, it looks like a big cultural.
You don't need to do drugs to
No.
learn. People have that idea, but
Yeah.
many people are clean and have their
100%.
babies and children
Yeah.
and stuff, pregnant women,
Yeah.
everything.
They're not physically clean because of the dust, but
No, yeah.
Like,
we're filthy by the end of the week.
Days, but adults, now they're pretty clean.
Yeah. So I took that. Well, actually, it started because I should backtrack.
yeah, backtrack, go, sure, man, yeah.
So got injured on this military course, and was it? Yeah, it was that one. Yeah, so got injured on that military course. Ended up booking this trip overseas for 6 weeks because I was like, I need a break from work. I need time to heal myself, like, after this injury and stuff, and I want to travel a bit. And so I took a big 6 week block, and I had the year before attempted this massive hike in Hawaii called the Kawarau Summit Trail, which it's only been completed allegedly by, like, say 7 or 8 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ambitious.
Yeah, well, and so no Aussie had ever done it, but it's the idea to do it first came up a few years ago when I visited Hawaii, and there's this massive, the Kawarau mountain range, and it runs from the north shore of Hawaii all the way to the south to Makapu'u Lookout, which is on the southeastern tip of Oahu. And I was hiking up the Stairway to Heaven. I don't know if you've heard of Stairway to Heaven yet. And so it's like this massive staircase that was set up in World War II, but it's phenomenal views. And I was hiking up that, and it's technically illegal, but
We won't tell anyone.
no, the view's too good to like, you know. Anyway, so I got up to the top of that and I'm looking out over this valley and I was like, oh my God, this is just astonishing. Like, yes, this mountain range is just like a sheer wall that goes the whole way up the side of Oahu. And so I was like, I wonder if anyone's ever hiked the entire thing. And so I looked it up, and just a few years before, in 2012, the first person to ever do it did it. And he did it in like 8 days. And so I was like, that was always a goal of mine. Then I was like, right, I'm going to do that as well.
In 7.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, let's try and see what we
beat
can
his
do.
record, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to beat his record.
Yeah, so we went, and I went in 2000 and must have been 2023. So I went in 2023, and I said to a mate, hey, I'm going to go do this. And he's like, oh, can I come? And I was like, oh, can I come? And he's like, yeah, sure, absolutely, come along. So also, you know, that's what he said to me. You know, can I come? I said, yeah, no worries, come along. So
Sure.
we got there, and the day we started, hurricane. There was a big hurricane that
Not
hit.
Katrina.
No, it hit
that was the famous
Maui.
one. That was years ago, right?
It was the one that destroyed Maui, like the one that like
Yes, I
started
remember
the
seeing it
fires.
in the news. Yeah.
So destroyed Maui, and we started the day that started, that hit the Hawaiian Islands. And so literally like the minute after we got out of the Uber up to this place to set off, the rain started and it basically didn't stop. And so the winds were incredible. Like we were crawling on our hands and knees for one of the days we were crawling on our hands and knees for 3 hours because the wind was that strong that if we stood up, it would just blow us over.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we got to day, I think it was like 6, and we hadn't yet got to the most dangerous part, which is the Kalihi saddle, which is this thing that's like razor thin ridge line. And if you fall off, you're gone. And the winds were still really strong. And we were like, I think this is a sign that like, this is not our year, like, you know, live to fight another day kind of thing. So anyway, we came off the mountain, we didn't finish it. And then I'm someone that like, just, if I don't finish something, it sticks in my brain. Like I have to go and do it until
Some other day come back.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna conquer this thing.
Like
so
the Milford Sound going back up again just to get the picture. Like,
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
I
100%
see
it.
Yeah, your commitment. Yeah.
So I go on this military course, I get injured, and I take 6 weeks of leave, and I'm like, right, I'm going to go do this hike again. And this is 2024 now, so last year. I can't say that.
True, well, yeah, the year
New
before
Year's,
that.
yeah.
Hey, by the way, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, Happy New
We
Year.
haven't said that, but Happy New Year, yeah.
So, I go back. I stay at my mate's who just got posted there with the military. He drives me up and drops me off on the day one, and I set off. And I went with a different plan this time, a different strategy. I was going lighter. I was going to go faster, and I made really, really good, like fast movement along the way. So I cleared like 20 Ks on the first day, which I was really happy with because it's some of the most dense vegetation that just stops you from going fast.
Humid and very hot.
It wasn't too bad up there. It just gets like really windy. It can get cold at nights, wet. It's just all different seasons up there in the mountains. And so, I get to the Kalihi saddle, this one that I didn't reach last time, and I'm going down that, and I was standing on this rock face, and I nearly fell off and died. Like the rock that I was standing on just gave way, completely gave way. And I was holding on to one rope with my hand, like looking out at this valley going, wow, that's an impressive view. And yeah, the rock gave way and I started falling and the rope's just like ripping through my hands. And I managed to just hold on and cling on to it. It's like Indiana Jones. I like swing around and hit this rock face and I'm just like there and I'm like scrambling to find my feet for any sort of foot holding to like not fall and die. And eventually I find it. I'm just like, oh my God. Like,
And you're on your own as well.
Yeah.
You're on your own and you're like, but did anyone see that?
yeah,
Oh my
no
God.
one saw this. And like, I nearly just died. Like, oh my God. Like this hike, this thing is as dangerous as they say. And so Anyway, I scramble down to the next part, and then the next part up is like this massive cliff face up, and I'm like, right, I'm not going to climb up with my pack again because my pack would have weighed maybe 20 kilos.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to climb up with it because it didn't give me any ability to scramble if I needed to. And so I take the pack off, I tie a rope to it, and I tie the rope to me. I just brought like this probably 20 meter length of rope. And then I climb up this rock face, and I pull up the pack behind me, and I place it there, and then I'm looking out over the valley again, and I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. I look up at the next part to where I have to climb next, and then I hear rumbling, and I'm like, oh, what's that? And I turn around, and it's my pack, and it's flipping off the cliff. And I'm just like, oh my God, because it's still tied to me, and it's a 20 kilo weight, right? And so like I just lean back into this cliff face, grip onto like any branch or thing I can find, and then the whole thing just like rips me out. And my waistband that the rope's attached to just snaps off, and the pack goes tumbling into this ravine. And so I'm sitting there dejected. Like I've got maybe a day and a half left of this hike. Like I'm making really good time. It was day 5. Like I was going to do it in like 6.5 days. And my pack's gone with my water and my everything. And so I was like, I was like, oh, like sitting there like, what do I do? And thankfully my mates who lived on Hawaii were there, and so I messaged them and I was like, hey, can you come like grab me? I need to go get more supplies and stuff and then come back up. And so they came and got me, and because it was close to
all the way there too.
Well, so there's a number of off ramps all along the way, and the Kalihi saddle, as dangerous as it is, it's the lowest point along that hike. So there's an off ramp there, a little trail that goes off, and so thankfully it took me like an hour to get down, which is it's the closest point along the entire thing where you can get up and down onto that ridge line.
You don't mind going down and up.
Well, I needed food. Yeah.
Yeah, you like it.
Used to it now.
Fun,
Yeah.
So I go down, I get a bunch of food, water, and then I come back up, and then I get to the next part along the Kalihi saddle because I still hadn't cleared it. And that's twice I've nearly died now. And then it's just a shit cliff face on this next one. And I was like, I sat there dejected. I was like, this mountain's beating me. I can't do this. Like I'm done. Like that. And I started swearing and stuff. I was just like, I was so pissed off because I was like, I've come this far just to get beaten by the mountain. So I get up and I start walking back. I'm like, I'm done. Like I've nearly died twice. Like I'm not going to get lucky a third time. And then I stop myself. I sit down. I'm just like, no, you're acting emotional now. Just like, don't let it get
you, man.
Calm down.
Come on.
Yeah. So
Don't be a wimp.
yeah, exactly. And so I get up and I turn back and I walk back to the cliff face, and I'm like, right, can I just see one rock that I can get to? And I see like one little rock, and I'm like, okay, I can get to that. So I scramble down to that, and I'm like, right, can I see another rock? Like I still can't see the bottom, like of where I need to get to, or how to get there. But if I can see one more rock to get to, then I can get to that, and then I can get to that, and eventually maybe I'll be able to get to the bottom. And so I keep doing that, and then eventually it gets to a part where I can jump and land, and it's far enough that I'm not going to hurt myself. And so I do that, and I was like, that was probably like the most proud I've been on that like entire trek, because I was just like, this proper had me cooked. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like I was pretty scared, to be honest, because I don't have a big history of like climbing or free climbing or solo climbing or anything like that. So that was my first time doing it. Probably not the best place to learn. And then so I get down that, I get up to the next part, climb up this next part, and it's called the Wedge on the other side of, I believe it's called Lanahuli, this mountain. And I got some pretty epic photos from there, which was awesome. That was part of the trip. Yeah.
So it was worth it.
Yeah, so it was worth it. Yeah, exactly. And I'm alive to tell the tale. And so I get down to
do it for the likes.
Exactly. Do it for the gram.
Do it for the gram, yeah.
So I get down to the next part, and then I go up the last part, which is going to be the last final run down to Makapu'u. And it was people do it in parts sometimes because it's a pretty big task, but I left early and finished late, and I did it in I think like 13, 14 hours in one day. So I just had like a couple of protein bars with me, some water, and then just did the rest. And I'd run out of water like maybe 2 hours before the end, and I was dying then of thirst. I was pretty thirsty, and I finished it, and then my mate picked me up, and I staggered in. I'd the last part, there's like this government installation with a fence, and so I rip my pants on that trying to get over it, and I rock up, I stagger up looking like a vagrant, and I've got this ripped pants, like it's ripped through my underwear as well, so I've got this big hole in the back. My ass is hanging out.
Your ass is literally hanging out.
Literally hanging out. I'm not in good sorts. And he picks me up. He's like, "Hey, dude, we just got to go pick up a surfboard that I've bought off Facebook Marketplace." I'm like, "Yeah, no worries, dude." So we go there, but
You're in Hawaii.
We're in Hawaii, so he's like, "We have to stop off at a surf shop first," and at a service station first. And so we get to the service station, and I'm like, I'm going to go and get some water because I'm thirsty. So I stagger in, and then the security there start circling, because they thought that I was like.
Oh, you're a homeless man trying to steal
coming
something.
to nick some things. Yeah. I was like haggard. I was like, I hadn't shaved. There was like.
Oh, you were after a 6-day, 7-day hike, right?
I was looking bad.
This is Alexander Supertramp, right?
Yeah, it was not a good look. And so the one of them comes up and he's like, we all good here, buddy? And I was like, oh, hey, man, how you going? And he's like, oh, you're coherent. And I was like, yeah, man. Yeah. I was like, yeah, no, I've just been off hiking. And he's like, oh, okay, you're all good, man. Like, no worries. And I walked back into the car. I'm like, Jack, I think he thought I was like, a troublemaker of some sort or something. Anyway, so finish that, go on. That's a very long-winded way of explaining what that hike was about, but
it sounds spectacular. It sounds like a hell of a mission, literally like a military mission of survival.
It was, and it was like I didn't feel like a great sense of accomplishment when I finished it, but I did feel a great sense of accomplishment when I did that middle part where I thought I was going to die. Like overcoming the fear that I felt in that was like was a pretty good feeling.
Because was there a moment where you could have at that point turned around and given up?
Yeah, like when I came down the mountain, I could have just been like, look.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah,
so today's not the day.
Yeah, and I've been lucky. Like I'm escaping with my life kind of thing. And as it was, when I came back at the end of the trip, I came back through Hawaii. I went and got some ropes and then tied it to a tree and then went down into this ravine to get my pack because I was like, I'm not leaving without the pack. It's very expensive. So I went and got it.
Did you go find it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I found it.
You found it?
I found it because it was like. It just flipped off and crushed all these branches and trees. So there was like snapped branches and everything everywhere in this. And so it was like, yeah, I found it. Anyway, so after this trip, after that Hawaii hike, I go over to Burning Man because I was like, all right, I'm just going to go.
Two extremes, right? One extreme to another. I go like, now after that extreme, I'm going to go be extreme in the desert.
Exactly. So I get over there and I talked to a few people in Hawaii that had been to Burning Man, and they're like, so what's your plan? Like, you're getting a camper van, you're getting, like, what's your approach? And I was like, oh man, I'm just going to get a tent from Walmart and get a bunch of, just show up. And he's like, you can't do that. It's like that. No, people plan for like all year to go to Burning Man. And I was like,
but you can also show up.
Yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like free camping. You just need a tent, you need some water, like, some food, you're good to go. And so I go via Walmart, and I get into this Walmart in San Francisco. And as I'm walking through,
cheers to Walmart, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Walmart.
You could buy a gun and a tent.
Yeah. Well, what was wild was everything was locked up. I said to one of the attendants, I was like, mate, I'm perfectly capable of just getting this stuff and bringing it to the front. He's like, oh no, we're not allowed. I'm like, why? Because he's like, oh, because people steal things and they just take off with it. And so anyway, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's more effort for you. But, if you want to walk around with me while I point out things. Shopping
assistant.
Yeah.
Literally.
And he goes, oh, so are you a fitness influencer? Like, what do you do? And I laughed. I was like, fitness influencer, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, you look like you keep in good shape. I just thought I'd ask a question. I was like, oh, no, I'm not. Anyway, like, that started getting into my head a little because I was like, I want to get out of the military, or I was considering getting out of the military.
Just
like,
takes one comment, right? And it gets in your head.
Exactly. It was just like, well, like, I'm not believable as a fitness. Like, I'm just Dan. Like, I'm not, all the things you see online about these very perfectly manicured, like, fitness accounts and pages and people and things. And so, yeah, I was like, I sort of laughed it off. And then I get out to Burning Man and I'm just literally rolling around, and because it's sunny all day, I didn't want to get a singlet tan, so I basically had a shirt off the whole time, just walking around in footy shorts or, jeans and no shirt on, just like having this awesome time at Burning Man.
And you're jacked at this point.
Well, yeah, like
you get abs of you're looking good.
Yeah, there was a bit of muscle like on and whatnot. I was pretty lean after the hike.
With the dehydration of the hike, right? Dehydrated you.
And I wasn't eating properly whilst I was on there, right?
Nearly dying, looks good.
Exactly. It was like a 7-day cut, like a
7-day cut without
like a drastic cut.
It's extreme, man. It's extreme.
And so, anyway, I go there and then I have a great time at Burning Man. Drive back to San Fran, and I was like, well, I don't want to go home too soon. I'm having a good time. Like, so I reached out to my boss. I'm like, hey, can I have another 2 weeks of leave? Like, just tack on another 2 weeks. And he's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, cool, that was easy. So I check out where the next cheapest flight is, and next cheapest flight was, I think I was meant to fly back to Hawaii, and then I missed my flight because I got into Vegas, and then within a couple of hours of being in Vegas, I was like, nah, this isn't a vibe. I'm not feeling this. So I booked a flight back to Hawaii, missed the flight back to Hawaii because I'm terrible. I'm so terrible.
You were saying you're late to everything, yes. So this is true. Yeah,
it's par for the course, right? And so that's when I messaged my boss, and I was like, hey, can I just get another 2 weeks? And he's just like, yeah, sure thing. So I check out where the next cheapest flight is, that somewhere I'd want to go, and it was Miami. And so I was like, oh, I've never been to Miami, so I booked a flight to Miami. And then I was there, and I met some awesome people, caught up with a mate, and
lots of fitness people there.
Very
like, isn't that they've got the beach there, Golden?
They do.
What's it called?
So there's one in LA and there's one in Miami. There's
Muscle Beach.
Muscle Beach.
Muscle Beach. Is that in Miami or that one's in LA?
I can't remember which one's which, but
you can't get in unless you've got muscle.
It's a hub.
No, everyone can train there. Like but it was awesome. So I went there and trained each day because I'm a cheapskate and I didn't want to pay necessarily. I did pay for a gym, but also it was like cool to do a workout outdoors.
You're working out with these amazing guys, right?
Yeah,
like jacked.
There was a lot of different characters there, and like it was a bit of a scene, which was funny.
Schwarzenegger walks by.
I wish that would have been like. I would have been.
Because he hangs out there as well. You go to those places and does little bits and.
Yeah, well, I didn't see anyone like maybe there was some people of note there, but I didn't see him. But it was Miami was awesome, and that got in my head as well. Like I met some people. I met a DJ there who I think I mentioned before who. She travelled around the world doing.
Give her a shout out. What's her DJ name? What's her name?
DJ Yana, IANNA.
Yep.
And she was like, telling me how she just travels the world doing what she loves and whatnot. And that started. I was like, man, that'd be an awesome life. And so like the seeds of
inspiration.
Yeah, right? Were starting to get grown as well. And then I met a few other awesome people who were. Making content and doing fitness related things, and they said, like how they got into it all, and were telling me about how they got into it all, and it got into my head a little bit, just thinking, I wonder if I could do, like there was another comment made, someone said, asked me a second time, like, hey, what do you do in the fitness space? And I was like, I don't do anything in the fitness space. Like I'm in the military, blah, blah, blah. But that was enough again to go, okay, like this is twice now people have said something like.
Yeah, wow. Follow the signs, like listen,
Nearly died twice.
Yeah,
Been
exactly.
told to be a fitness coach twice.
Yeah. And so I was like, I do feel like I had a lot of lessons that, I could give people about, how I eat, how I train, running coaching, and because I was a running coach as well, I got my qualifications in that, and then I was big into the martial arts and boxing. I was still just constantly learning and trying to learn things, but I feel like there was a lot of lessons there that I could have passed on. And so anyway, I got back to Australia and then got back into boxing, and I was sort of back into the swing of the things with the military again, and they said to me, we were talking about postings and whatnot, and I knew I wanted to go for this military course that I got injured on again, and so I was training up for that, and that's where I tore my patellar tendon in my leg, and that was going to sideline me for the rest of the year. And so I was like, well, that military course is off the cards now. So, maybe it's time I look at something else, because I was really bored in my actual job, and I knew I wanted to try something else, and so
because the actual job's military, but
Yeah, in the Air Force doing.
in the Air Force. And what were you doing specifically?
At that time, was doing ops planning type things for Maritime Border Command. So
a lot of admin stuff, kind of in a sense, but a lot of technical.
Just office stuff.
Office stuff. Yeah.
Not hugely interesting.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Sold you a lie, didn't they? The military. You'd be out in the forest and like
doing cool stuff,
doing cool shit. You know.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones stuff.
Yeah. People are oh, you're in the Air Force. That must be cool. You must fly planes. I'm like, no. Think of the most boring thing. Like that's what I do. Like, the opposite of that. Like I have some mates that fly planes, and they do a lot of cool stuff. But I don't. And so I was working away, thinking about what I could do, and this idea of getting into fitness coaching had sort of come about. I was still very invested in boxing and getting better at boxing, and I was starting to help out people in the gym, like newbies that had come in. Like the coach would go, "Hey, can you just help this person?" and whatnot, and I got a lot of joy out of helping and seeing them like go from coming in and not knowing how to throw a punch, and then within a couple of weeks, like they're starting to pick some things up and they're starting to string it together, and they're being much more defensively sound with their hands, and they're better with their feet, and that was really satisfying to me. And that's what then started this string of things of people going, "Hey, are you this?" and like sort of almost having belief in you before you have belief in yourself.
Yeah.
And then
beautiful,
that's how it works. Right?
Yeah.
For other people.
It was just like it gave me a bit of motivation to explore the idea of doing something in the fitness space. And so at the end of last year, the end of 2024, they said, "Hey, what do you want to do for this next posting?" And I was like, "Well, I don't want to stay in Canberra," because I was living in Canberra. It's a lovely city. It's just very sterile. There's not a lot going on.
Yeah, Canberra's
It's safe. It's comfortable. And so I was like, I don't want to stay in Canberra. I would like to get back to Southeast Queensland, which is where my family are from. I'd been trying to get back there for a decade, and I'd never once gotten back there. The military just kept not posting me there.
No?
Yeah.
Where's the closest town? Was it?
The closest base would be, there's one in Canungra.
Right.
They have like a Defence Force recruiting on the Gold Coast. They have a Ipswich. They have a RAF base Amberley, and then there's a Nogra, which is the Army barracks in Brisbane. There's a few around Southeast Queensland.
So you wanted to go any of those places would have done for you?
I was like,
You'd be happy anywhere.
Just get me back there.
Wow.
And so, because my parents are getting older now, and so I wanted to spend more time with them because I'd been away for over a decade, and I was like, I would like to actually see my parents more than once a year.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, I don't want to stay in Canberra. I don't want to go to a SPO, which is a type of job that we have. It's like an office project type job. They say, "Oh, hey, we need this new bit of equipment. We need someone to coordinate with the contractors to get that." Super boring, but it's also very stable. But I was like, I don't want to go down that route. It's too boring, and I don't care about promotion. I couldn't give it. Excuse my language. Couldn't give a shit about promotion.
You could swear on this podcast.
Okay, cool.
It's cool.
Couldn't give a shit about promotion, and so I waited, a month or two, and then they got back to me and they said, "Hey, good news! You're going to get promoted. We're going to keep you in Canberra, and you're going to a SPO." And I was like,
"I don't want to do any of those things."
It was like I literally said all three of those things I do not want, and you've given me all three. And so I ended up saying to them, "Well, look, if you're going to, if you're going to do these things, I want to work remotely from the Gold Coast." My parents were getting older. I wanted to move back, and they said, "Oh, you can't do that. There's no jobs up there." And I was like, "Well, I want to work remotely from the Gold Coast," because COVID had hit and it demonstrated that we could work remotely because everyone could work from their homes. And if they were going to send me to a SPO, which was just office bound anyway, and I wasn't going to be leading a team, then why can't I? And so I looked into the job a bit more, and the two key people that I needed to speak to, one was in Melbourne and one was in Newcastle. So I was like, "So explain to me why I need to be in Canberra." And they're like, "Oh, well, the job's in Canberra, the people you need to speak to." And I said, "Okay, who are the two people I need to speak to?" And they were like, "Oh, this person and this person." I was like, "Where are they based?" And they were like, "Oh, well, one's in Melbourne and one's in Newcastle." I was like, "So why am I in Canberra?" And
gotcha.
Yeah,
Research
it was
brain.
a gotcha moment. Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, yeah, you can go up there in 6 or 8 weeks. And I was like, I've already booked the hire car to take everything up. I need to go next Friday. And they were like, "We'll get back to you." And then they came back next day and were like, "Yeah, okay, it can happen." I was like, "Cool."
Because they don't want to lose you.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Like you've got them over a barrel a little bit in the sense of like
the power had shifted to my hands a little bit more. Because they just give me this promotion even though I said I didn't want to get promoted, and so I had a little bit more sway than I would have if I was in the previous rank as well. And so And I was also ready to discharge. I was like, if they didn't give it to me, I was like, no, I think I'm ready to explore something else anyway. Yeah. So, and so I moved up to the Gold Coast, and that's when I decided, I was like, right, there's a few big goals that have been on my horizon. I wanted to have boxing fights because I had this love for boxing, and I wanted to have the first one. And I also wanted to sort of get into the fitness space and just, start making a bit of content and see if people were interested. Because I felt like I had some interesting things to talk about and show. But we'll see, ultimately the people decide if they're interested in what you have to say. Other people decide if they're interested because, your mates and your friends and your loved ones will go, yeah, this is great, Dan. But, does the jet like...
It's the wide audience, right? And that's the challenge, isn't it? Because, and it's funny sometimes how your friends and family are actually the ones that sometimes don't support you when you come out and do stuff online because of, I don't know, they feel that sense of protection. They're scared for you, and their fear makes them go, I'm not going to like this or share it or comment on it.
Yeah.
And it's quite strange how that psychologically that works. Like the family and friends don't support you, but then all these unknown people, they fall in love with you and they support you. Like it's like a very strange sort of like
dynamic
within that space.
It's something I've thought about quite a bit. And initially I was like, well, why aren't friends and family liking this thing? Like, like I would support them kind of thing. But then you realize, well, I didn't, like they love me and like me for who I am. They didn't force me to start this business, right? Like, just because I start this business, they're under no obligation to support that because they got their own, everyone's got their own shit going on.
Everyone's got their own shit going on. Yeah, if you do it for yourself, that's right.
Yeah, and so then I just sort of like, I didn't take it to heart, and I was just like, hey, if I make good content, the right people who like my stuff, who resonate with my stuff, are going to like that. And because the whole goal for me, like I started out and I sort of adopted a military planning outlook on it, like I would with my actual job. And it was like, right, well, what's the foundation for what I'm trying to do? And the foundation for what I was trying to do in the fitness space was, there's a lot of noise out there, and there was a lot of differing opinions on the right way and wrong way of doing things. And I've always felt that, one of my strengths is I love going out and learning new things. Like the year before, I'd set a goal to try one new thing every single month and see how good I could do it, how good I could get at it in that month, and see if I could adopt some lessons from that. And the whole approach was to go in with an empty or an open mind and not come in with these preconceived ideas or judgments about things. And so I've sort of adopted that with my fitness space, is that there's so many different things to learn out there, and there's not a right way or a wrong way of doing things. There's just like many shades of grey about how to do things, and you need to take what works for you and disregard the rest that might not fit or align with your way of life. And so, I had my core tenets, which were, natural nutrition is a massive thing because, I was and this is another influence on why I wanted to get started in it, but I was at the gym and someone had, sorry, that's my phone going. Yep. Someone had said to me they hadn't said to me, they were working on the bench press next to me, and they must have been 16, 17 years old, these kids, and he didn't get the bench, like he didn't get it, his mate had to help him get it up, spot it, and he goes, swears and says, oh, I can't wait until I can start taking testosterone or some other steroid or something like that, tren or something like that. And I was like, you're 17 years old, mate. You're like, you got enough testosterone flowing through your body to
lift mountains.
Yeah, exactly.
Like climb mountain, lift, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and so that shocked me, and I was like, God, there's an issue in the fitness industry at the moment, which is everyone is taking something, so the general population feel like they need to. And my big thing was like, well, if I can show people what can be done naturally, then maybe I can offer them a different perspective. Because again, if people want to pursue that route, so be it. But I don't want people to think that they have to pursue that route in order to, have a nice looking body, have a healthy body, have a strong body, and all these things. And so
looking good at
the
expense of being healthy.
Exactly. Right? And so the core tenets behind what I was doing was, or what I wanted to show and wanted to show people how to do was like, not just how to look good, not just how to perform at a higher level, but also to focus on your long-term health and combine those three. Because I feel like, there were running coaches, there were bodybuilding coaches, there was nutritionists, but even then from the nutritional perspective, there were nutrition coaches that focused on long-term health. There were nutrition focused coaches who focused on performance, and then those that focused on like aesthetics, like, your typical bodybuilding type approach.
Different niches, right?
But there wasn't really any that blended all of it together, because the big thing was like, well, something's got to give. You can't necessarily do it all. And my whole approach was like, growing up, moving around all the time in the military, you had to be very versatile. Even then when I joined the military myself, you had to be very versatile and adaptable. And then trying all these different sports, you had to be versatile. Like, and this idea of versatility kept coming up. Yeah,
you
exactly.
Can do it all. That's right. There's no limits to what you can learn.
No.
And no limits to, the only limits you put are limits on yourself.
100%.
Right?
And the whole point behind what I was trying to do was to, I guess, approach it then from quite a broad perspective. And people are like, well, what's your niche? And because, you need to have a niche in this space. And I said, well, I guess my niche is versatility. Like, and a mate said to me, you train so much, people don't want to do that. They want to train less. They don't want to train more. And I said, well, I love training more. So I'm sure if there's one person, which is me, who wants to do it, then
there are others.
There are others.
I'm unique, but I'm not that unique.
Exactly, exactly. Like there's going to be other people that also are interested in that, and maybe they don't want to adopt it all, but they can adopt some of the things. And so, so I set out just to start that, show some of the natural nutrition, show some of the versatility of training in terms of running, lifting, martial arts, and then try to deliver it in a way that's easy to understand and show people that, hey, like, I'm not following this dogmatic approach where it's like you have to train this way or you have to eat this way. It was more just like, this is a way. Let's see what resonates with
whatever
you.
works.
Yeah, and I think lots of people are in lots of different circumstances in their life, right? Like, not a lot of people are in the physical condition you are to then pick it up and take your route. They have to start from further back.
Yep.
They have to focus on nutrition. They have to go slowly into it. They have to build and
big time.
And they have to do lots of different things. Like I went through a bit of a health journey myself. 2020, I was 95 kilos.
Yep.
So I got quite heavy, and it was just drinking beer and eating steaks in Spain, and being on the coast of Spain and just getting fat.
Yeah.
Got back on the 1st of September 2020, and I bought an exercise bike, and I sat on that exercise bike for 3 months, and I did 25k every day.
Wow.
Stopped drinking alcohol, went vegetarian, and I lost 25 kilos in 3 months.
There you go.
And I didn't read anything, didn't ask any questions to anyone.
Yep.
I just thought, this has to work, surely. Like, if you're doing 25k on an exercise bike every day, religiously, 4 p.m, every day I was on that bike. And I changed my lifestyle, and I changed my life in 3 months.
And you would have learned so many lessons from that as well.
I learned so much, And I could have, of course, I could have listened or read more about what I was doing. I went off instinct, really. But the fact of the matter is you can, with those changes in your life, you can change your life. Yeah. Right? You can change your life in a short period of time with health, fitness, and nutrition.
Absolutely.
And it's a start anyway, everything leads to the next thing.
Exactly. And this the big thing that I preach, because with my Instagram and with the sort of fitness that I guess I do is like, one, always trying to choose a goal to work towards, right? Like something to anchor what you're doing towards, so that you have a target to aim for. But it's the amount of volume that I do in my day. I train up to 20 times a week, which is arguably a lot, because it's anywhere from 3 to sometimes 5 sessions a day. I'll do at least 1 or 2 days a week where I train minimum of 4 times a day.
Wow.
And so
it's mad,
but it's like, I guess the intrigue for some people, this is my own assessment, is, well, how does he do that? And the first thing that came to mind was that they said, well, it must be steroids. It must be, people can't do that without performance enhancers. And I was like, well, I'm really glad they brought that up, because this is what I'm trying to address, is that, no, you can actually do this if you apply the correct principles.
It must be broccoli then.
It's all the broccoli and rice and chicken.
Broccoli and rice and chicken, man.
Yeah, but the key thing that I was talking to them about whenever people ask is gradual adaptation is a massive thing. You can't go from 0 to 100 overnight. It takes a long time of just steady incremental improvements and increases in the volume and in the training in order to see the adaptation, so that your body doesn't break. Because if I have tried to go too hard too fast early on in my younger 20s, and that's when I was getting injured, and because my body wasn't adapting to
and it happens to a lot of people.
It does.
Yeah.
You're also brave when you're young as well. You're brave and you want to try it all, and you don't know. Fearless,
you don't know the risks.
And so that's a key component of the other is natural nutrition, which I genuinely believe in. And people think that that's a little bit of a gimmick, and I stand by it. And the reason I stand by it is because, a lot of the artificial or highly processed foods that we have in our diet lead to greater inflammation in the body, but a lot of the natural whole foods that we have lead to a decrease in inflammation in the body. And so, if you're able to recover quicker, then you can train more. And so the whole idea was that by having a mostly natural whole foods diet, I could recover quicker and at a quicker rate and quicker pace and go again. And so, so that recovery time is shortened, thus you can get back in the gym and keep going, right? Exactly. My body's functioning better, it's feeling better, I'm like sleeping better, because people say, oh, like I'm doing all the right things, and then but I'm not sleeping right, and you look at what they're having, and they're having highly processed things before bed, which is messing with their
sugar,
sleep.
caffeine,
exactly,
alcohol.
And so it was like, trying to look at natural whole foods as a way to address and food timing, meal timing, and what you're having where, and things like this. Or even one thing with one of my clients recently was like, he's like, I'm doing all the right things, but my sleep still isn't right. And I looked at like when because he was eating all the right foods, but then I was like, well, am I correct in understanding how you're inputting this? Is like the order, or is like, what's the order of the foods that you're having these in? And he's like, oh no, actually I have the rice with dinner, or the white rice for dinner. And I'm like, oh, well, I'd prefer you to have that with lunch. I'd prefer you to have potatoes with dinner. Like, let's swap that around. And then so he did that. He's like, oh, my sleep's fantastic now.
He's sleeping like a baby.
So like things like that, right? And so there was the natural nutrition, the gradual adaptation, intensity variation, because people comment on my Instagram post as well, saying things like, oh, there's no way you're training at max intensity for every single 20 or every single one of the 20 sessions. And I was like, no, you're 100% right. I'm absolutely not. Because, to assume that you need 100% intensity for every single session is you're just disregarding a whole other lower intensity factor of it. For boxing, for example, I might want to work on skill development. I don't go to boxing just for a good workout. I go because there's, I want to get better at certain techniques and certain punches. The same with, all the different martial arts. You don't need to train at 100% intensity all the time.
No,
you don't feel the same way every day.
No. And with my running, I do high intensity intervals. I do tempo runs. I do long, slow distance runs, and the benefits are profound working in that lower heart rate zone. And so my big point to them was always that, like, you're absolutely right. I do not train at max intensity for every single session. Otherwise, my central nervous system would get burnt out, and I wouldn't be able to go again, and I wouldn't be able to, recover and keep training the way I do. And the last part was just the programming. How are you stacking your workouts? Are you doing, a high intensity interval session followed by a leg session, or a leg session followed by that, which is going to lead to, it's a high amount of stress on your central nervous system again, or are you stacking it better in the week so that you can recover between sessions?
It's also linked, right? Like all of it's so linked, all of it. And so how do you translate that into the content then? Is it sort of one subject at a time? Are you trying to, it's the lifestyle as well you're promoting? So tell us a little bit about the content, how you grew your channel so big as well in such a quick time. Because
you're training people in person and
you're doing
and
PT sessions
online?
So
it's all online. Yeah. And the goal behind that was one, because because it's, I guess my niche is that quite a versatile athlete thing. I needed a broader reach in order to be able to reach the right clients. Because I say to people, it's like I'm not just trying to work with everyone and anyone. I want to make sure that, because there's a ton of good coaches out there, right? Like there's so many good coaches out there. We just need to find the right one that works for us. And that's what I say to people is like, even, I started working with a business coach because I didn't know how to set up my infrastructure around what I was doing.
Your Meta and all this stuff, and running ads and getting leads.
Well,
lead
I don't do any of that. It's more like the fitness coaching thing about like what platform do you use to do the online coaching on? All of these things that I had no idea about, because I've come from this, very things,
all the systems are in place when you get there, right?
For the military
and stuff, it's all there and you just learn it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And whereas this was all new to me. And so I got in touch with a guy by the name of Zach Perner. He actually reached out to me, and it was funny. He reached out to me, and I thought it was because he's very famous in the fitness industry. Okay. And he's got like 500,000 followers or something like that.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, a massive following. And he reached out to me, and I disregarded his message at first because I was like,
you were a bit of a prick, right?
Well, I thought it was like a bot or something that he'd had set up to like, spam people's accounts, and so I disregarded it. And then he sent me another message and was like, and I was like,
blocked him.
Well, yeah, straight up blocked him.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, how do I know this is actually Zach talking or messaging and not, one of his assistants or something? And then he sends me a voice message.
Oh no, yeah.
And I was
That's
like,
how
okay,
you know.
okay, I'll talk to the bloke.
Is that your real voice?
Yeah.
There's layers to this.
Yeah, like, all right, like I'm still not believing. Like, no, so he, so I got in touch with him, started chatting with him, and he's sort of like, he's where I want to be in terms of his ability to reach a broad amount of people and help as many people as he can. And that was my goal, right, is to give as much knowledge and benefit and value as I could to as many people as possible. And so my account by this stage was already well on its way. Like I'd had, by that stage, probably over 50,000 followers on there. And it was now, okay, I want to move into this online coaching space. And he'd said to me, oh, like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? How do you want to set this up? And I just said to him, I don't know where to start. I don't know, because I've never done anything.
Yeah, you've come in as a newbie. Like the whole thing is, there's a big system that is different to, working in hospitality, working in military. You're going in, you're creating your content, you're creating the platform, you're trying to find that to bring in the funds in, the money in from clients on your own.
Yeah.
You become self-employed.
Exactly.
And you've got a lot to learn then, right?
There's so much to learn. But one of the core things that I guess I applied with this was like, I didn't want to be that pushy type who was like, trying to get people to like close a deal then and there and like, yeah, and just like my whole thing was like I don't care about this might sound disingenuous, but I was like, it's the same thing advice I used to give to my corporals in the military was like, ones that were looking to get promoted. I said, look, you take care of your team and the accolades and the pats on the back will come once you look after your team and you guys do a good job. If you think about getting the accolades and disregard your team, you will not get the accolades. And so I said, I started with, I don't care about the money. Like I want to do a good job. And I think if you do a good job and you help people out and you put good value out into the world, then the business will take care of itself and you'll be able to, because you still want to be able to make a living, but at the same time, like I think the purpose needs to be the driving factor. And so, Zach said to me at the start, he's like, your methodology behind how you get potential clients and stuff doesn't make sense. It goes against what all the rule books say around like, closing in that meeting. Like,
closing is really important.
Yeah. They're very big on like,
invasive.
like, and it wasn't like, he's just like, he was just being real with me. He was like, this is what the models around salesmen or sales is like closing in those meetings. And I always say to him whenever I'm on a call with someone, I was like, hey, I'm not going to, press you into making any decisions here and there. In fact, I'd encourage you to go away and think about it and decide if, we're a right fit, because I want to make sure I'm working with the right people, because like I said, there are so many good coaches out there. And if people are going to invest their hard-earned money into someone, you want to make sure that they're doing it with the right person. And so, so that's been, I guess, my approach to it. And I think it's resonated with some people because they're like, they know then that they're not getting someone that's trying to be a snake oil salesman or whatever and sell them something that's not like it's...
You connect at a personal level, right?
Well, like I don't...
trust the person and then you let them train you.
Yeah. When your integrity has to come first, right? Like you want to do the right thing by people and you don't want to come across as dodgy or be dodgy. And
it's like choosing a guru or the guru choosing a student, we had the first episode of our podcast, we had Emmett and he's an astrologist.
Okay.
And he,
that's fascinating.
and he read our astrology chart for both of us in the Synastry. It was amazing.
Yeah.
You can watch the episode on Tuned In.
Yeah.
on this podcast. No, but he was saying that his gurus, they also had to choose the student that they wanted, because you have to choose that one student that is going to be able to absorb then the knowledge they're giving.
Yep.
And it's also important to choose that person the right way, choose the right person, knowing that they will be able to take in that information and carry it with them and do the work afterwards as well.
Yep.
Because you'd expect people as well then that you train and you teach to also pass that knowledge on, right?
Absolutely. And that's a massive thing that I've advocated for not only the people that I train, but the people that are considering working with me at the start. Is like, hey, my whole goal is to help and influence as many people as I can to lead a healthier life naturally. And so I want people to be able to take these lessons away. And the big thing that I preach to my clients as well is their nutritional and their training literacy. So I don't want to just tell them what to do and be like, hey, don't question this, just do this. I want to be like, hey, let's learn why we do certain things so that long term they don't need me, which is not the best business model to do yourself out of a job. But it's like the way I see it again is like I want to help change as many people's lives as I can with that. Because I think, you know, leaving the military, in the military, you feel like you have a sense of purpose because you're working towards something bigger than yourself. And so that is something that I want to replicate in the civilian world is like, I do want to work to something bigger than myself, which it can't just be about, you know, dollars in the bank or things like that. It has to be about actually having a positive impact on the world. And that's something that an old boss of mine said. It was like, he felt like success was when you left the place better than what you found it. And so that's what I'm hoping to do with my account and whatnot. And that's been my approach. But to get past, I realized I went off course, but to get back to your original question around, you know, how do I frame sort of my content?
Yes,
That has been a big learning curve from the start, is like trying to, again, excuse the language, but throw shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. You know, seeing what resonates and what doesn't. And, you know, so the training videos, the day in the life videos, they were a big one. You know, on the days where I am training a lot, like doing 4 or 5 sessions, putting up that and just showing people. A lot of people think, oh, you know, I got comments on there initially from people saying like, oh, you know, it must be nice to be a trust fund baby and whatnot. And I was like, I wish I had a trust fund to take from. Like, I'm working long hours here, man. Like,
yeah.
Like, hey, if you know of any, like, send them my way.
Sugar mama, you need.
Yeah. So it was,
But that's it. People have those opinions based off your content, which is, you know, they say that any publicity is good publicity, right? So it doesn't matter if they comment bad stuff or good stuff. Still good for the channel, right? Still good. Talking about you, which means that more talk will happen and then the word spreads
potentially,
as well.
yeah. So. And well, I mean, I got and this was like when I first started it, like, you know, I was having this chat with my folks and was just like, hey, like you're going to get some comments on there that are just going to be pretty vile stuff and like people, you know, really attacking a character that don't even know you. And you just have to accept that that's the world you're going into. And I was just like, yep, I know. And then the first sort of big one on that was Burning Man. So, you know, I mean, you've been to Burning Man, so you know what it's like. In the day, it's pretty quiet because it's so hot. Everyone's just staying out and they're waiting for the night when it comes alive. And so during the day, there's a lot of free time to do what you want. Most people sleep, but like I'm like up walking around and I was like, well, I may as well go train. So I went and filmed like me doing 3 sessions. I went for a run. I did some boxing and then I did like a little.
Trained at Burning Man.
Yeah. Because like, well, I haven't had a rest day. So my big thing is like no rest days.
Right. You haven't had a rest day. In how long now?
Oh, a couple of years.
Jeez. Every single day. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to get some form of movement or activity or exercise in. So like after we've done this, I got to drive down to Milford Sound, but I still got to get a workout in, which I'll probably get on the way. I've seen there's like a little outdoor workout area that I'm going to stop.
We do a different type of workout in the van.
Vocal workout.
So we do live in this van as well.
So so I went to Burning Man. I did this training day, and it was like, you know, there's 24 hours in a day, and at night time you're partying and you're having fun, and so but during the day it's like there's a whole lot of spare time. I'm not working a job whilst I'm at Burning Man, so you know I'll get in 3 sessions because they have like 4 or 5 different gyms there at Burning Man because it's like you know anything you want to find you can find there.
Manifested yourself a gym.
Exactly. And so it was great. There was like I met some really nice people there. I had some great chats.
Of course, there's very enlightened people go there. Right? You met a lot of great people there as well, right?
Well, they have like an ultra marathon there. Like there's they have a
so funny because I didn't see that, but it's like you experience what you put out there, you know,
what
like
you want
I wasn't looking for workouts.
No, so you wouldn't have found it, like because you weren't necessarily looking for it. And so so I did that and I posted up the video and I was like, oh, you know, people might find this interesting.
Because you're at Burning Man doing a workout.
That's the coolest thing.
It's so cool. Like, it's original.
Yeah.
That's very original.
Yeah, I thought so. And it was like 50-50. Half thought I was an absolute douchebag.
Oh, wow.
And the other half were like, oh, man, that's really cool. Like, and it was funny. All the people that have been to Burning Man loved it. They were like, man, that's so sick. I've seen that gym there. I never got to that gym. Oh, you should come to this running thing next time. The only people that had negative things to say were blokes.
Anti-burners.
Yeah.
Well, that's the wrong fucking problem.
People were like, you know, why don't you just do drugs like everyone else, you dipshit? Like all this stuff. And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. sorry, I wasn't doing drugs. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Apologize for not doing
Yeah,
drugs. What?
Well, I think the also it goes into a bit of the Australian culture and the Australian sort of
tall poppy syndrome thing.
yeah,
and-
tall poppy syndrome, but also just the way people communicate online in the Australian space, you know, because I think in different countries on social media networks that run in different countries, there's different relationships and people use the internet for different things. You
Yeah.
know? Like the States, you know, UK, Australia, very opinionated, very divided,
Yep.
very strong opinions on both sides, you know.
Yep.
And then other countries maybe not so much, maybe more supportive. So I think it does also come down to the culture of the country, like
Definitely.
the reaction
I've
that you'll
absolutely
get.
seen that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've definitely
I
seen
mean,
that.
there must be some truth that some people are really fake. You know, there's a lot of fake people
Yeah.
online platforms selling. You
Oh,
know,
people don't know what to
stuff
believe.
That they don't really do.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Well, and that's been the other piece is like, you know, my mates and stuff joked to like, oh, you're on that influencer dollars now and stuff like that. And I'm laughing about it because I'm like, oh, I haven't seen any of these dollars. Where are they? Like, you know, and I don't consider myself like an influencer or anything. I'm just some dipshit that makes videos online. But, you know, case in point, last night my mate was, him and his partner were staying at the Hilton here, like, because they're like, oh, we'll splash out and we'll spend a bit of money on the Hilton. I slept in his car. Because I'm like, I ain't got a lot of money to spend on a,
You're not going to stay at the Hilton,
No,
you know?
no.
Yeah, this is the Hilton for us, you know? So,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So like, he had some mattress in the back of his car, back of his van. So I just slept in that. Like, you know, and I think that speaks to the fact that I have had a lot of brands reach out and be like, hey, we'll give you a bunch of this stuff if you just promote it, or we'd like to work with you to promote it. I'm like, I'm not going to promote stuff I don't use, you know? And
Wow, okay.
and
yeah.
that and that's the thing of the issue with natural whole foods is it's like, what am I going to promote? A kiwi fruit? Like that's, you know,
who
like,
owns that?
yeah,
Who
like,
owns the fruit?
yeah, I'm like, hey, if you're listening and you own a kiwi fruit company, like reach out to me. I will promote you. Like,
They do exist. There
yeah.
are companies that just sell cute like, fruits, and, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So look, I think there's definitely a market out there for you to find those connections. You know?
Yeah, it's
For
just
sure.
like, you know, the big supplement brands and stuff that have reached out. And I've just said, well, look, I barely take any supplements. I take some creatine and some fish oil. That's it.
Oh, interesting. You
Yeah.
don't really
Don't-
do that stuff either.
No, don't take a lot of supplements at all. And so it's like it would be disingenuous of me to sit up there and take these things and promote these things if I don't have them because you got to live a lie then, and you know, that'd be too much effort.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and also you're not really promoting, you're not really selling that or
No.
encouraging people to do that anyway.
no, exactly. So it's been it's been interesting from that front because you see all these other influencers that are putting out a lot of stuff that, hey, if they use it, they use it. But I've just, one of the core tenets has always been, you know, transparency and integrity to just show people how I live my life. And so a big part of that is only promoting things that I actually use. So I'm working with a bone broth company. They just give me free bone broth, but and I just promote their stuff, but it's stuff that I would do every day. So I fast once a week, do a 24-hour fast once a week, and I break that fast with bone broth, and I cook with bone broth. And
And that day you work out too?
yeah, 3 times usually on.
He works out every day. He
Yeah.
works out every day.
Full.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But it's low intensity because when you're fasting, if you're training at a higher intensity whilst fasted, you increase the risk of injury, and 2 the risk of muscle wastage and muscle damage and loss, and which is I don't want to do. So it's low
You do the
intensity
opposite
day.
effect, right? It doesn't work
Exactly.
as well. Yeah.
Exactly. And the intent isn't necessarily around muscle and things like that. With the fast, it's much more about hopefully reaching a state of autophagy to help for cellular repair. It's working for like metabolic switching, so switching from carbs to fats. It's you know, focused on just trying to improve my overall long-term health. And so yeah, like with that, it just comes these I guess there's, I wouldn't say limited opportunity, but there's less opportunity when you're not just saying yes to all these different brands, being like,
Yeah.
hey, but I think your integrity is everything, you know, and people can smell bullshit from a mile away.
That's
And,
right.
And I mean, the whole online world is like, what matters is authenticity, you know?
Yeah.
That's,
100%.
that's the one thing that's hard to find,
Yeah.
you know? These
And
days.
people are looking for a reason not to believe, and they're looking
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
reason not to be sold to and not to buy in. And so I think like your reputation, your integrity is everything. And, you know, and if you stick by that and stick by those rules, and you can't go too far astray
Yeah.
with it.
So, Dan, you're in a big moment of life-changing things that are happening to you. You know,
Yeah.
next week you're quitting, you're leaving the military,
Yeah.
and you're going to go and live this new life. And we'd like to do a tarot card reading for you.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
So, well, I'll if you just assist me, my beautiful assistant, my lovely wife over here. Some cards here. Okay, so the reading that we did, the reading that I like to do, is 3 cards that you pull, and it would be myself, so yourself, your current path, and your true potential.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a view towards the future,
Yep.
right? So walk towards the future together.
Can I just say this is my first ever time doing one of these, so this is awesome.
This
Wow.
is amazing. Okay.
Big
A
moment.
big
So-
moment.
You'll shuffle, so all you need
Yep.
to do is just like this, nice and soft, because they're not poker cards.
Yep.
I always say that
Nice and
because they're
soft.
nice and soft, and shuffle them. Yeah. And
Sorry, you can.
yeah. Give it a shuffle. Close your eyes. Feel the cards. That's it. Feel your intentions for this new year as we move towards the new year. 1st of January 2026. We are here in Queenstown,
The year of the horse, right?
year of the horse. So we just came out of the year of the
Of
snake. Tell
yeah.
us about that.
Shedding the old and shedding the skin of what you're not anymore. You know?
Mm.
And then the horse, I think it's called fire horse here. It's about really just going and becoming the horse, you know, becoming the new you,
Yep.
like embodying what you have become. You know?
I like that.
Yeah.
And if you want to just split the pack in 2,
Yep.
just do your own cut and then put it. Yep. And then like that. Okay. Okay.
The things that we managed to do in this van.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll pick 3 cards and keep them face down, and just lay 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the first card is yourself. Keep it face down. Yep. Second one is your current path, and then it's your true potential.
Dun, dun.
Beautiful. Okay. So the first one is myself. Please turn it over. Oh, okay.
Five
So
of
the
Cups.
5 of Cups.
Cups. The
Tell us your-
emotional realm, right?
The emotional
Cups represent water, the element of water, which is related to
Because my star sign's Aquarius.
intellect, emotional realm.
That's cool.
Yeah. Aquarius?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
21st of Jan.
21st.
Oh,
Days
so it's
before
coming
my
up. So
brother,
20
yeah.
days your birthday.
Yeah.
That's
How
the
old?
same as my sister.
32,
My
I'll
sister.
be.
32.
Yeah.
My sister is the 21st of January as well. Louise.
There you
Yeah.
go. What a coincidence.
Look at that. My sister. Yeah.
We'll
Amazing.
see this episode.
Yeah.
So 5 of Cups. If you'd like to pick up the card, you can have a closer look at it
Yep.
as I read to you. So keywords: regret, pessimism, and disappointment. So this is myself. This is your current, right now. I let go of all that I cannot change. I accept my past and move on. That's the affirmation. Perhaps the situation in your life hasn't gone the way you expected, and now your heart is full of disappointment. This card shows a woman literally and metaphorically crying over spilt milk. She mourns the 3 cups in front of her as her back is turned on the 2 cups standing tall. Are you dwelling on something that you can't change? It is time to accept your past, as you are wiser and have the inner strength to move on. If you remain fixed on your losses, you will miss the opportunities available to you. Practice forgiveness. That's the message there. How does that
relate to that?
do you
Yeah,
relate to
big time. Big time. I think this military course that I was aiming for and I was going for, and the injuries that sort of derailed that. And it's always ever present in the back of my mind about maybe if I just get healthy again, I can go do that. But it's been like this seesaw idea about, well, do I invest my life into that again? Only maybe I get injured again, maybe I don't. And so this year is about trying to explore this fitness journey, or at least in the online space, to see what potential is there. So that resonated with me.
Wow. So the what ifs, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. You do
Big
feel
moment.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the regrets, the pessimism. I was an English teacher in a previous life, and we used to teach. I taught a lot of foreign students, like foreign people, teaching them English. And one thing I used to teach was the third conditional, right? So the third conditional is if I hadn't done this, this would have happened, or if I hadn't chosen this, this could have happened, So it's this idea of always expressing pessimism, of thinking, what if I'd done this, this could have happened. But you never know, because
it doesn't exist.
It's already passed, right? It's an expression of a past regret that thing that you wish could have happened can't happen because it's already too late. So even expressing yourself like that in English, I would teach my students, is quite negative. It's a negative mindset, right? Because you're just regurgitating, your past life and saying, I could have been this, I could have done that. I could have done that.
It's an energy of regret, really. Yeah.
And it drags you down, right? It drags you back to the past. And it drags you back to a past state of mind, So if
you can't change.
You can't change. So if you can remove some of those thought processes or ways of speaking to yourself, then you're living more in the present, right?
Then you're thinking possibility instead of like, what could I have changed?
Yeah, which that definitely resonates with me. Particularly because even when I work with my clients, I talk about future self-visualization and talking about not necessarily who we want to become, but who we are, even if we're not already, or if we're not yet them. Like, we have the potential to be this person, and we have these things. And so, like, let's work to be the best version of ourselves. And what does that actually look like? And it's sort of like, writing a narrative for your future self. And I think that's part of it, as well as also acknowledging, the past and what you can't change. And
it's huge.
Looking forward to the future.
Respect your past, and then appreciate the present.
Yeah.
Because I think if you can get to a point where you respect your past, you can forgive it.
Yeah.
And that's what the card is saying to you as well. Practice forgiveness. And that's the forgiveness of yourself. Forgive yourself for the injuries. Forgive yourself for, not achieving those things that you thought you were going to achieve.
You did your best at the time, and then that led to the next thing, and that's where you are now, because of all that path. So honoring that, right? Loving that. It made you who you are.
Yeah.
So, your current path then, my friend, the next card.
Place that down.
Yep, place that down. You've got your next card, your current path. Oh, it is! It's
so interesting, man.
So interesting.
Wheel of Fortune.
The Wheel of Fortune. So, Wheel of Fortune, you can
Fortune.
imagine kind of what this expresses a little bit, but I will find it here for you. Very interesting. So, keywords: karma, destiny, life cycles. Affirmation: I am at peace with impermanence, which I think you are. This card reminds you that nothing is permanent. We see a sphinx surrounded by constellations representing the 4 elements. In his hands, he holds a giant wheel. The Hebrew letters on the wheel mean God, and they spell out Torah, which means law, or rota in Latin for wheel, right? Law, the wheel of law, right? In the middle are the alchemical symbols for mercury, sulfur, water, and salt, which are the building blocks of life. This card symbolizes that the wheel is always turning and life is in a state of constant change and motion. All right, so we're moving, we're changing all the time. As one cycle ends, another one begins. It is also known as the Wheel of Karma and reminds you that what goes around comes around. You are at a turning point and you have a chance to make a significant change in your life. Yeah. Right, so that's
definitely relevant.
Wheel of Karma.
It's very much that.
It's funny, karma, because karma has such a negative interpretation, in general.
Yeah,
but like,
people
it's
use
really
it in
what
a
it's
negative sense. Like,
but really what it's about is just this loop, life showing you, your patterns so you can change them. Like, it's not, I'm being punished.
Yeah.
You can be the victim and be like, I'm being punished. I keep, being injured and stuff. But you take the message instead, and you're like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Like, what's behind it? Like, what's the meaning behind what's happening, And that's when the growth happens, right?
Yeah. And looking forward and to what the opportunities that exist coming forward. Yeah.
Kind of reading reality, so you can use that as your map,
Being quite objective in that approach,
Being at peace with impermanence, you very much are. I mean, you've lived a life of impermanence, right? Ever since you were young, moving home with your family, being in the military, and So I guess that being at peace with impermanence is something that you have been most of your life, right?
Mastering.
Yeah, you had to get used to it, right? Like you'd move to a new school, and like, because I went to 6 different primary schools, and
wow,
really,
it's a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And so you had to like get used
like
to making
one a year,
friends quick.
pretty much.
Yeah, like we'd get to a new place, and then Dad would get posted to the next place, and then the next place, and so you just had to get used to impermanence. Yeah.
Wow.
And your life's in a constant state of change, yeah?
Yeah, it is.
Like right now, just moving away from the military and now taking that big step into this new career path. And then within that, all the change that happens as well. And,
Yeah.
it's interesting, isn't
It's
it?
become like a life skill, this impermanence.
It has, yeah. Very
Made
much so.
you resilient, right?
Yeah, and adaptability.
Because some people join the military for the opposite of that, right? For the opposite of change.
For stability.
For stability and for it to
Structure
be like structure. And I need that, a lot of
some people can get quite rigid about it, right?
Very much so.
Yeah. Well, I was talking earlier, I'm from Hereford, which is the home of the SAS.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that I went to school with that have rough upbringings, they turn to the army. They go join the army, join the military.
It's like finding God, right?
It's like finding God, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's like, you step in, all of a sudden you're not a troublemaker anymore. You're not going to end up in prison. You fix your life.
It can be your support, like your structure, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it channels that energy.
Yeah.
In a different way.
That's right. Yeah. Beautiful. So last card then is your true potential, my friend. Oh, the stars.
Oh, the stars. Love that.
And this again is very...
This theme of water keeps coming up.
Yeah, the water. Yeah.
So the star. Keywords: healing, hope, renewal. My life is filled with blessings. I welcome this period of healing. Right, you're talking about injuries and everything, yeah. This card is a message of healing and hope achieved through reconnection with the divine. A naked woman is pouring water from 2 jugs. One flows into the river and the other onto earth. It follows the Tower card, signifying a welcome period of healing and recovery after turmoil. You are entering a peaceful phase in your life, with inspiration and magic flowing all around you. Visualize sacred water pouring all over you, healing the parts of you that are still hurting physically or emotionally. Allow yourself time to let the healing process run its course. Your true potential to heal, my friend, from all your injuries and, all the battles that you've been through, Yeah,
well,
literally.
Even right now, I'm stretching out this leg because I'm in pain with my patella tendon. Like, it's like, so that's a big one for me for this year, is to get the body back. Good and
been sitting in this car for over an hour. It's a
We're
challenge
getting out
itself,
now,
right?
But and it's a beautiful draw, man, and I feel like there's a lot of connection there for you. Like,
there's a lot that resonates. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Heal, man.
Yeah, and just even moving into the future, like exploring different paths that are open to us and available to us. And you guys are on a really interesting journey yourselves, and like you're 1 week in the van now, and I feel like there's an opportunity there for you to share so much joy with the world in terms of the travel, in terms of like what you're doing here with the podcast, in terms of like what you both do with your work as well, and it's an exciting time for all of us, right?
Yeah, we've gone through a huge change the last month since we landed I landed here a month ago.
Yeah, it's
3
been
weeks.
pretty
You've
crazy.
been here about nearly 2 months, but it's been a crazy whirlwind, but also life changing, and like living your purpose. Finding your place, finding yourself in a place where you go, I can live my purpose now. And that's what you're about to embark on. Finally shedding the old, shedding that skin.
Like you say, integrity, alignment, and you feel like life then rewards you for it, because you're doing, you're living your purpose.
Yeah, exactly. You're on your path.
Yeah, you're on your path.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong, right?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Well, and and this next year moving ahead as well, there's just so much opportunity. I think a lot of times people see, and it sort of aligns with that topic of karma that we were just talking about as well, though, and sometimes people see it as a negative connotation, karma, but there is a lot of opportunity moving forward into exploring things like travel, and people go, if I relate it back to the fitness space real quick, people think, travel, I'm on a travel diet, so I can't eat healthy, I can't do these things. But for any of your listeners that are sort of interested in the van life and how to stay healthy whilst you're traveling on the van life. That's a big component of what I'm trying to share next year as well as I go off on traveling around the world. It's like, what are the little hacks that you do and what are the little things that you do there? And I think there's so much opportunity to learn along the way about how to optimize these things for our health, our well-being. And, even the time that I've been here in Queenstown, it's, there's plenty of opportunities to still stay fit and healthy. There's so many opportunities for us to go run around the beautiful countryside that they have here and see some awesome parts of the world. There's,
just did some running around the Remarkables area with today.
Morning,
because I'm like,
we
live in a van, but I need to move. I can't not exercise.
Exactly,
it drives me insane.
And people say like, I'm traveling or I'm on holidays. So I can't get to a gym. You don't need a gym. You can go run.
No. And also we live on a holiday now, technically. So like, what are we going to do? Just eat chips all day?
Exactly, yeah.
I must say I have been, but because it's Christmas and
an unhealthy relationship with chips. So we're working on it.
We're working on it. I feel like I've always had this yo-yo, sort of relationship with my body. Not for the last 4 years when I lost the weight and I was working out every day and I was doing really well. And I think now it's just about adapting, right? It's like,
exactly.
And that's what you can teach. You can teach how to adapt in different circumstances. And you'll show that, right, with your content coming up.
Well, exactly, and I don't know if your viewers would be interested in this at all, but like from my perspective, it's been quite easy to eat healthy whilst here traveling. As for breakfast, some oats, some berries. You put some peanut butter, some yogurt with it as well. Like that's a fantastic breakfast. Eggs as well, super easy. For my lunches and things like that, when I was hiking, I had some beef jerky. I found some clean beef jerky, some tuna. You can get, if you have access to a microwave, you can get the microwavable rice, which isn't great, but it's also like you still need to get carbs in. You can chuck it with a salad. You can make up, and it's all like readily available. You can get from the shops, and you can have a really healthy, feed. And then snacks. I just have fruit for snacks. It's the best snack.
That's what you do as well, yeah. We try to eat fruit.
It's like there's so many opportunities to eat healthy whilst you're traveling and whatnot. It's just like you just have to sort of know what options are available, because I think that's probably the issue that people run into is the knowledge factor about they don't know what's out there and what opportunities are available.
They don't know
them.
what's healthy and what's not.
And they don't know different quick little things that they can do because they want something that's convenient. They don't necessarily want to have to go to a ton of effort. But when you think about it, going to the store and getting some tuna, getting some salad, these things are all very quick and very easy. And I think there's an opportunity for yourselves and for myself next year. As we travel around the world, showcase some of these things as well and have an impact, a positive impact on the people that are interested in what we're doing.
Show people what can be done.
Exactly.
Right?
And the amount of people that engage with me on the comments as well and say, hey, this is what I do. And I find it fascinating. I love when people reach out and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Because it's like I'm learning from them. They're learning from me. Like we're all learning from each other and taking what resonates.
The coach is coaching, right?
Yeah,
that's what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's this constant state of learning. And that was something that, when I was a few years ago, I met a major in the military who had quite a profound impact on me. But he said, whenever he walks in, like his best advice was whenever he walks into any room, he always thinks like, I want to learn something off every single person in this room. And I think that's something that stuck with me a lot. Is just like, wherever I'm going, it's like, what can I learn from people? Even like as we sat down today, and for anyone listening, we just met today in a cafe. At a cafe. Like, I was sitting there, I was trying to find somewhere to plug in my phone, like to charge it, and then we just got chatting.
Taking over the cable area.
Yeah. And it was very fortuitous meeting.
For sure. And I think we've lived similar lifestyles. The moving around, living in different countries. We haven't been in the military, but it is that lifestyle of impermanence. Like we spoke about. We're all three of us here have moved around a lot, lived in different countries, and I think it's, I don't know. I noticed a lot of people here in Queenstown that have obviously come from the same lifestyle, right? Moving around, living in different countries, and they've ended up here in this place. And there's something sacred about it because there's so many beautiful people here.
Yeah.
So many souls that are just aligned with who they are and what they want to do.
Yep.
There's a lot of wizards in this town, and it's it's an amazing place to be. And I feel like we keep connecting with beautiful people here. In New Zealand, I think it'll be the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. Like, the Kiwis that I've met, even I deployed in 2018, and I was deployed with the Kiwi team, and they were fantastic. some of the best people I've ever met. And they were so kind and so generous and just down to earth people. And I think that's why people love coming to New Zealand as well. Like the place is beautiful, the people are beautiful.
Yeah.
Shout out to New Zealand.
Shout out New Zealand.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a bit of a personal one, though.
Yeah.
Just because we've been talking about your life and everything you've been through, and your life being very busy, a very busy life. So, what about relationships? Have you had many relationships? And managed to have those relationships?
Yeah, it's a question I got.
You're quite busy, right?
Very busy.
Relationships while working out and kind of texting.
Yeah, texting superset. Just
working out next to you.
Yeah.
You get to hang out.
Yeah. Well, it's a good question because it's something that I get asked a bit online as well. Is like, people either make assumptions and go like, oh, this guy can't have a relationship, like. And no, I was in a long-term relationship for about 4.5 years. She's a fantastic person. Like I'm very much of that. I think people, when they break up, they look for reasons to hate the other person because it's easier to mentally grasp with, oh, it didn't work because they're a bad person.
Yeah.
But things can just not work because of circumstance. It can just work because maybe you're not compatible. It can just work like in my instance, it was a 4.5 year relationship, but we were doing distance for 4 years of that 4.5.
Oh, geez, yeah, long distance for that long.
And it all started because I was in the, I still am in the military, but I was in the military in Darwin and she was in the Navy. And she said, hey, look, I've always wanted to, we'd just met and then I deployed like 2 weeks later. And we started a relationship whilst I was deployed. And then when I got back, I was getting ready to move out of Darwin. And she was like, hey, I've always wanted to join the police force. But like I've never had a support of like a past partner to pursue that. And I'm someone that is quite ambitious and goes after a lot of things. And I'm like, who am I to not encourage someone to chase what they want to do if I'm out here also wanting to chase what I want to do? And so I said, absolutely, you should go for it. What does that mean? And that meant that she was going to move to Melbourne. I was going to move to Newcastle and I was like, we'll figure it out. And then we dealt with COVID during that period. And so that was a pretty hectic time, like not being able to see each other for, significant portions of the year. And we got through that. And then there was just no end sight in terms of us being able to live in the same place. One of us was going to have to give up our careers and we were both career driven. So that's, we ended that and ended on good terms. So that was a significant portion. And then I said to myself, I wasn't going to get into another relationship until I had my life sorted, essentially, like as in I had transitioned out of the military and I'd set up this business because I just don't think it's fair to, get someone or involve someone into something that when it's, when your life's in
transition.
It's in transition. I was going to use the word turmoil, but it's not turmoil. It's just transition.
Yeah, you're moving. You're adapting. You're adapting your own life to a new lifestyle that you're trying to figure out.
Exactly.
So then, bringing someone in at the same time, that's complicated.
Yeah, and you guys know what it's like trying to start your own business. Like it's very invested, and there's so much time invested into that, and it's like there's only so many hours in the day. How much do you have to invest into other people, into other things? And so. That's it. I've been single for a while now.
So you're available. We can tell people that.
I'm available.
Very handsome.
But you just have to be
tall.
very adaptable.
Adaptable woman.
I like the gym.
Yeah. Well, this next year is going to be an interesting year.
Too. You can work out. Man.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Extra calories burnt there. I'll tell you, that's for sure. Yeah.
But next year is just going to be a very busy year because I'm going to be traveling around. The plan is to travel around the world. I'm starting in Hawaii. And then I'm going to just travel east from there until I get back to Japan.
Amazing.
Japan or Thailand towards the end of the year. I'm going to go to Mongolia as well. And so not a lot of room for relationship in that sort of travel thing.
Sure.
But
unless it's a nomad kind of relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah, unless there's no
let me know if it happens. I'm like, oh.
because we met as two nomads in a sense, travelers, in a completely different country, in a completely different city that we're both from, and bumped into each other on the tram and fell in love, and then the rest is history. But we also this year we were
willing to
separated.
move. For each other, So like that's. It has to be a common thing, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a relationship.
Decision to make together to do something. And I think, your story when we were talking about it before the podcast, your story is fascinating because it's an old school love story.
It's very old school.
Very 90s.
Very 90s, meet cute, as they say in
We're
movies.
nostalgic people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think it's
this
fantastic.
year we actually got separated at the airport in Argentina because of visa issues. She couldn't get back into Australia.
Yep.
So then at the start of last year now, January, we were all of a sudden separated and we couldn't get back together until this moment. So we found each other again in New Zealand.
Wow.
And going back to what you were saying about having time to build a business and do all that, I was alone for a year. So it actually worked out.
We had time to focus on ourselves.
We focused on ourselves and built our own businesses, and now we've come together to, continue building businesses together and
being ready for that, for that togetherness.
Yeah, and have that space for each other again, and which I think is massive. But as you said as well, it's like a choice that you make to work through whatever you need to work through to make it work. It's a choice to move to each other, to live with each other. Like, these are all choices we make.
Yeah, because I could have chosen to, I could have got sucked into that life in Melbourne and building a business and getting bigger and bigger and, stayed there for longer and kept the distance, been in a long distance relationship for longer, but it's not what I really wanted. And sometimes a lot of things surrounding us, like business and, your profile online, you think it's the most important thing to you when actually it isn't. What usually is the most important thing is the person right in front of you.
I guess it comes down to what do you really want? What's important at the time.
100% is. And I had that discussion with my folks over Christmas. Is like in my opinion, there's nothing in this world that genuinely matters. The only thing that matters is the meaning that we prescribe or ascribe to something.
Yeah, exactly.
And that usually comes in the form of relationships that people have, like with family, with loved ones, with friends. Those are the things that matter.
Yeah, human connection.
Human connection, because we place meaning into them.
Yeah.
So
because businesses can end and start again and grow again, and those are cycles, right? As well. But relationships, usually they're long-lasting.
Because your business is also a relationship with yourself, and
absolutely.
like your connection with people, because it's really honest and it's really about health, about lifestyle. So,
and there needs to be a lot of trust and transparency.
Yeah,
and trust is, an old boss of mine who I respect very, very dearly. He said to me that what people want out of a good leader and a good boss is trust. They want to know that person, they can trust that person, and that person has their best interests at heart. And and so to do that, you need trust, and that's the basis for any good relationship is trust, right? Like knowing that there's that safe space there with that person that you can, whether it's a friend or a loved one or an intimate partner, like there needs to be that level of trust.
100%. Yeah, it's so important. I mean, obviously in the military, very important as well. Trust your teammates, 100%. Right? Trust your team.
You trusted us to drive you in the woods.
Yeah, you were following us to the middle of nowhere down these dusty roads. I was like, he's just following us, man.
Trusted this
I was thinking, I'm a decent runner. I can run if I have to.
We're not dangerous. I think you knew that when you met us. Yeah,
100%.
We're too sweet.
Nah, you pick up a vibe from someone, what they're like, and. It's funny though, the military piece, without going off on too much of a tangent, but I was having this chat the other day because, again, someone said like, oh, when do you hang out with friends and whatnot because you're so busy and you're working all the time? And I said, well,
you make them work out.
Well, yeah, that is one thing. It's like I train with a lot of my mates. They come visit and we train, but being in
bodybuilders.
Yeah, well, but a lot of the mates that I have are military mates, right? And so they're all posted across the world. Two of them are posted in Hawaii. Many of them are posted in every state in Australia. And so by virtue of that, I don't see them very often. And look, I've made mates on the Gold Coast again. But there's something about military mates that are you become so close with them. And I think what that is when you're sleeping in the dirt, you're tired, you're being expected to get up and carry heavy things for many hours, you start to see the true essence of what someone is, whether or not you can trust them, or whether or not would they give you the shirt off their back kind of thing, or would they leave you in the lurch. And I think in many cases, like you don't have that opportunity in the civilian world. In the civilian world, in order to get that same level of trust and build that same level of trust, you need to go through some level of trauma bonding of some sort. You need to go through some arduous activity, some difficult thing together where someone's true colors do come out and you see whether or not they are someone that resonates with you or that you would like to form a friendship, a relationship with.
See behind the veil, right? You know, behind the veil that we all put on, you know.
Well, in your instance, like you were separated for a year, right? Like that's a tough thing to go through, and you see someone's true colors during that period. And so, you know, you need these hard things in your life in order to be able to see and develop those difficult...
What you're made of, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what that other person's made of and whether or not you go, you know what, yep, I can see myself with this person for, you know.
Right. Yeah. And then, it's about finding that person, being open to finding that love, you know. Like when we met on the tram, both of us were in a place in life where we weren't on the dating apps, we weren't looking for anything, we weren't obsessed with the idea of having a relationship or being with anybody, you know. And then all of a sudden you meet someone and it's, I guess, life questions, you know, are you ready for love? And are you open to it? You know, because then it can form.
100%. You need to be open to it.
You have to be open to it.
Yeah.
Even if it comes to you, you know.
But you're not ready yet.
You can't say no.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Emmett on the podcast, and he was talking about. He was like, you know, I live in a van, and you know, there's a lot of women that want to get in my van. You know,
That's a thing.
you know, and we were like, yeah, and it's true, but it's then, do you want them in your van? Do you want them in your life? Do you want that? Are you willing to accept them? And also, are you willing to accept the love? You know,
absolutely.
well?
I'm comfortable with my peace. Like I have a lot of peace in my life, and I don't want to disrupt that peace. Like for me to let someone into my life, I need to know that they're not going to disrupt that peace, because like it means a lot to me.
So they're going to add value, but not.
Yeah, and I don't mean that in like an egotistical way or anything, because like I need to be able to add value to their life as well.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, if you are comfortable in your peace and you have your peace, like you don't necessarily want to disrupt that too much.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I
love
let my peace be disruptive, but you know, it's a choice. It's a conscious choice, and obviously, the more aware you are of it, the better. You know, because it's more aligned with who you are, and you see it for what it is, and you're like, I'm willing to take that.
Exactly.
You know, everything.
It's a conscious choice that you're making.
And willing to respect their freedom, their space, their ways, their personality. You know, I'm not gonna tell him to not be himself. You know, like I don't want that.
No.
And even if it gets to that, I need to work on myself and be like, you know, what's going on here? Like,
absolutely. And that's the key point I think you made, is that, you know, who are you willing to potentially give up that peace for? Because it can't just be your way all the time. There has, you know, it's give and take, and there needs to be balance in life, and you know, it's not just your balance. It's
because you see that what they give to you too, like, right?
Absolutely.
For me, it was like what he can bring into my life is so expanding for me, and if I take that, like, it's so amazing what we can do together. You know, like for me to overcome so many things in myself. You know, through that. Yeah,
I guess, and to elaborate on that, I guess what I mean by not disrupting my peace as well is like.
Yeah, because it sounded really bad, though.
Nah.
So explain.
No.
It's more like, you know, not being completely incompatible where it's just built on physical attraction. Say, like, you know, because a lot of people pursue that physical attraction, which is all well and good. But if you're not in harmony or in synchronicity in other aspects of your life, then it's probably not the most compatible situation to be in, and so you know, like I said, I'm in a very good place in my life where, you know, I'm not lonely, I'm not unhappy, I'm at peace with who I am, and where I'm
you're dating peace.
Yeah,
you're dating peace. Yeah.
And so for me then I'm making very conscious decisions about the people that I let into my life, because it's, you know, I know where I'm at, and I'm not looking to fill a void per se. It's like anyone that I'm looking for compatibility and congruity with where I'm at and with where they're at, as opposed to, you know, other people who might not be at peace in their life, but they're chasing to fill a void. And because when they do that, they often fill it with things or people that aren't good for them. And that's, I guess, what I'm avoiding, is like if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, for it to be something that's like completing each other.
Yeah, and organic.
Rather than you give me what I can't give myself.
Yeah, it can't be like a transactional type thing or...
It can get like that for many people.
It can.
You know, like,
do this for me, I'll do this for you. You know?
Negotiation, you know.
As negotiation, as business, is not really that much love in that, you know.
No.
Yeah. And but I think peace is nice, but love is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say on it. I think
and you do
it
have to
comes
roll
to
the
you at the
dice.
right
you do gotta roll. You have to roll the dice, man.
Yeah.
Like we did for each other. We met each other. It was this explosion, and it was like, wow, like we weren't ready for it, but we're gonna go for it and see where it leads us, see where it takes us, and I think that's the struggle that a lot of people find nowadays in this modern dating world. You know, is taking that leap of faith. You know, believing that person could be the person for you, and also allowing for time for it to grow, for the love to grow, and to learn about each other. Because it's not going to fall into place and click, everything be perfect in 5 minutes.
No.
It's never the case, you know. Like love takes work. Right?
Yeah, it's work. Yeah,
it takes work, and it takes that relationship and a friendship, a bonding. You know, challenge each other.
Yeah.
You know, which we challenge each other a lot. You know, she challenges me to be better, and vice versa. You know, all the
we
time.
compete in a healthy way.
We compete.
I'm all for competition. I love competition.
We know that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I think as well, like, you know, people, and this is the irony of me being in the Instagram social media fitness world is, well, I can't believe I'm saying that I'm in that now, but I am in that now.
Hey, close to 90,000 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
You're in it.
You're in
Yeah,
it, man.
it's
It's
in
in
it
you
now.
anyway.
Yeah. But, you know, I think that's one of the interesting things is that with social media, everyone's looking to jump to the next biggest thing, and that translates over into relationships in this modern world. It's like people are looking for the slightest inconvenience to jump ship, but you do have to put and invest energy and effort into a relationship, and and if you're not willing to do that, then it might just be a revolving door of relationship to relationship.
And that happens to so many people nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, how many of your mates in the military have been through? I'm just assuming, but I assume right that there's probably been through a lot of relationships and a lot of, you know, ups and downs.
The relationship world
the
is
dating game, right?
It's a complex one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
It's a game, dating game. They call it the dating game.
What's going on in the dating game? We always say that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a game you have to be willing to play. And at this point in my life, I'm not willing to play it at this point, but I'm not closed off to it. It's just I'm not investing energy into that game at this point. Because
that's the right way to attract it. So watch out.
Yeah. Look out. Here it comes.
It's around the corner.
Yeah.
Love is coming to get you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell us where people can find your content, how they can watch you. Tell us your handles.
So I just have the Instagram, which is Dan Natura. So DANNATURA _. Because just without the underscore was taken already, unfortunately.
Don't follow
He
that
hasn't
guy.
got 90,000 followers.
Yeah,
right?
no.
That guy's not worth it.
No. And I'm looking to start my YouTube this year as well. That's my goal for 2026, to get that up and running, so that I can start some longer form content. We can get into discussions like this as well about in more depth, and people can actually see that I'm not just this dude that yells out for people that I'm familiar with my Instagram. I just yell out superhuman food, and then I show some food, or I do some fitness things, and it seems like it's all high energy and
Eating your kiwis.
yeah, eating my kiwi fruit before bed each night. But it's I think opportunities like this, it gives me the opportunity to show a bit more personality of like just I'm actually a very laid back guy who just enjoys training a lot and eating.
And you got a story, man. Everyone's got a story.
Everyone's got a story.
You know? And that's what we're here to do as well, is help people share their stories.
Yeah.
And
Whilst building your own, right? Like,
Yeah,
as in,
yeah.
you're living a pretty extraordinary life now, being able to travel around in the van and make some epic stories and memories for life, which I think is fantastic.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you for
being
sharing.
on
Thank you so much for this
OnlyVans.
opportunity. Yeah.
Episode 2 of OnlyVans.
The best name ever.
That's why we talk about relationships as well, right? You know?
Yeah, it's themed.
Yeah, but it's
No, I
good,
love
man.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's
Thank
a pleasure
you.
having you on. Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.